Now, when Sony came on stage, a lot of people were expecting an apology, and we got it. The PSN apology took, really, not as long as I thought, but they were very sincere, and a lot of stuff is being released for free or discounted on the PSN. Now, Sony is partnering with Cinema Now and bringing a huge number of movies to the PSN, and really, it's one of the better things that was released at E3 that's low level. A lot of the big announcements were, the Wii U and the PS Vita, but the little stuff, little things are important too. Uncharted 3 was demoed and it looked fantastic. There's not much you can say about Uncharted 3. It's probably one of the better looking games at E3. The mechanics were a little bit slow. The water effects were still good, and it looked fun. Insomniac came on stage and talked about Resistance 3, and the big news that they had was that Resistance 3 is coming out with a sharpshooter bundle. You'll be able to get the sharpshooter model for the Move. You'll get the game, the basic edition, and both of these will be $150, and it'll be available on September the 6th of 2011. Good news, right? Well, then Sony came out with God of War Origins and Ico and Shadow of the Colossus on 3D. The three different God of War games that are going to be released were the PSP versions, and Ico and Shadow of the Colossus are all being redone, and this is coming out in September. Now, with 3D being mentioned, Sony thought that it would be fantastic to mention their new 24-inch 3D HD TV. There's a lot of letters there. Yes, Sony is coming out with their own TV just meant for 3D, and now they wanted to put the TV and the glasses into a little bundle. And before I get into the price, here's the big thing that they wanted to touch on with this TV. You have player 1 on one side, you have player 2 on the other. Both have separate 3D glasses, correct? When one person is playing with another on the same screen, the 3D effect will actually show separate images for either player. So instead of having a split screen or a horizontal screen, I hated the horizontal ones, you can actually not have split screen at all, and two players will see completely different images from their glasses, which is really, really neat. Now, the pricings for this bundle. Now, if you wanted to get the TV, 24-inch HD 3D TV, a pair of glasses, that's one pair of glasses, and an HDMI cable, it's going to run you $499.99. Now, if you want to just get the Sony trademarked 3D glasses, they are $69.99 a piece. Then everyone started talking about the Move. The Move was making a comeback, just like Kinect did. This was one of my E3 predictions. We needed some more games for the Move and Kinect. People are forgetting about these peripherals. Now, 2K Sports came out with NBA 2K12 and actually brought Kobe Bryant out on stage to talk about the game. And it was kind of cute, but, you know, he was probably paid for it. Even though NBA 2K12 looked ridiculously good. But the big thing about this game is that you have the Move, and you only have really two or three buttons to do all kinds of actions. Again, I would rather have a controller so that I can do a lot more things instead of one button is using the best move in their player's arsenal or to pass. It doesn't really seem feasible when you can play a game like basketball and have so many options at your hands. Then we have Medieval Move Dead Man's Quest. This game is pretty much an open-ended, well, not an open-ended, it was a pretty linear RPG experience. It had no inventory, it was complete move support, and you could use archery, swordplay, or ninja stars, which was kind of cool. It was a creature-based fighter game in some dungeon, and it worked fine. The demo seemed very nice and neat, and the move, you can actually put it behind your back, and this little action would quiver an arrow and then actually notch it into your bow, which was kind of cool. Then we have Infamous 2, which the neat thing, I'll actually do this for both of them. Infamous 2 and Little Big Planet 2 were announced and teased. I mean, not really announced. Everyone knew they were coming out, but they were more light was shed on them. The two important things you have to notice or remember from this is that both games will support online user content. Content created just by the gamers to be put online and other people can play them. This in any game is fantastic. I love this feature, and most times people can make levels better than the developers. This is how a lot of people are actually getting hired by game companies. You show off how you can create a gameplay mode or a level, and next thing you know, they're contacting you on Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network. Starhawk was announced, and it'll be coming out early 2012. Now, I know you've been waiting for it, the PS Vita. I will get up to it now. Vita is the official name if you haven't known about it yet. Yes, I may have known about the name change really early, but I'm definitely not the first one to tell you, obviously. Now, here's some specifications for the PlayStation Vita. It will have 3G and Wi-Fi connectivity. It'll have a 5-inch touchscreen, 16:9 ratio, and the resolution will be 960 x 554, which is a pretty good sized screen. It's definitely bigger than the other Sony handhelds. Now, the battery will be unmovable because it's going to be attached to the touchscreen on the back with infinite possibilities. Then we have 2 slots for gameplay and storage. One slot is for the storage, and the other is for your game discs. And the new game disc will not be UMD. PSP games will not work on this system. I was about to say console. They will be new flash-based media cards that will be releasing later this year with a specific name for them. So UMD will not work on the PS Vita. Now, this game will allow you to play PSP games, minis, and PS1 titles through the online store that you can download or buy. Probably most of these will be free for the PSN outage. And the other thing is there is no video output on this handheld. Well, that's all for Sony. Let's see what Nintendo's doing.